the farewell tour of former president and general manager of Chicago Cubs, legendary Hall of Famer Theo Epstein. I don't know if you saw this story over the weekend.
I did not.
Theo Epstein, obviously, he quit. Uh, he he was like a rat jumping off a ship, sinking ship, getting out from his final year with the Cubs back in 2020 or before the 2021 season. Uh, Handing over the reins to Jed Hoyer. He did not move out of Chicago, though. He kept his residence in Chicago, even though he's been working for Major League Baseball in the front office. He had kept his condo or mansion, whatever he has, in the Southport corridor, not far from Wrigley Field, until this past weekend. He is finally moving away. Theo was pretty famous for being part of the neighborhood. You could see him all the time. Actually, I saw him one time walking down Waveland towards Wrigley from Southport. He actually passed me. I didn't know he was there until he went past me. I didn't know it was him right away. And what I did notice is a dude about my age dressed almost the same as I was. This is back in 2018. He was, just jeans, hoodie, ball cap. What I did notice is that his jeans, hoodie, ball cap, and especially his shoes were far more expensive than mine. It was, I don't know. It was just somebody I don't really pay attention to I walk around the neighborhood. I walk hundreds and thousands of miles around Wrigleyville, but I just remember this dude on his cell phone kind of walked a little bit aggressively past me. Like I thought he was a little too close and he's kind of on his cell phone. I didn't hear him necessarily talking on his cell phone, but that's why I was just kind of like, what's up, dude? Got to where remember Rocket there on the corner of Waveland and Clark? And suddenly people were pouring out saying, Theo, can we get a selfie? But he was on his cell phone. He just put his finger up saying, I'm on my cell phone. They backed off. I think that was his MO to keep from being accosted by fans all the time. He was just always on his cell phone, even if he wasn't talking to anybody. Although at the time I was speculating that he was negotiating with Bryce Harper's agent to get him to the Northside, but clearly I was wrong about that.
Yes.
I did take the opportunity to snap a photo of him walking in front of me as we're crossing Clark. Of course, I posted that on Instagram and with the caption, "Is it creepy for me to be snapping a photo of Theo Epstein walking across the field from behind?" Yes, it is creepy. So, but I've got that in my timeline. That's how I know it was 2018. But Theo is finally moving out of the Southport corridor, presumably to the east where he's from, maybe to New York to further his career with Major League Baseball, or who knows what he's doing. But he did want to take the time to celebrate his going away, as he had a farewell party last Friday. And thanks to Paul Sullivan, who happens to be our asshole of the week, little teaser right there for you that I'll get into after this. Paul Sullivan actually wrote a story about Theo's last day, about what I'm going to call Theo Epstein's day off, much like Ferris Bueller from the 80s. Theo had himself quite a going away party. He started the day with some buddies at Castaways on North Avenue Beach. Have you ever drank there? That thing that looks like a big ferry boat right next to the beach at North Avenue?
I have not.
I've been by it a million times, and I never thought to get a drink there because it kind of looks like a shithole to me. But
yeah, it seems kind of like a reservoir of douchebags.
Yeah,
so
there's some douchebaggery going on there for sure. Right next to all the volleyball
so I've
courts.
skipped it.
Yeah, I never went in there. I don't know anyone that's gone there, so I thought that was kind of an odd place for Theo to start his going away party. Paul Sullivan reported that after brunch at Castaways, they all hopped on divvy bikes to get up to Wrigley Field, which Theo was seen in the bleachers. He had bleacher seats with all his buddies. He has been seen in the bleachers before, wearing a disguise, or the famous mustache, and a Ernie Banks cap. He was not in disguise this time. However, as social media word on social media leaked that he was actually in the bleachers, photography came out that I actually didn't even believe was Theo. A photograph was taken of someone that ended up in the basket outside of the bleachers, right at the edge, the wall there at the
Mm-hmm.
bleachers, in the basket, laying quite comfortably, much like Leisure Rules poster for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The social media was saying that was Theo Epstein, and I just thought it was some drunk frat dude that fell into the basket. Because you couldn't really see his face, but once you confirmed it was him, it definitely was. But I didn't believe it at first because I thought it was bullshit. But apparently, those photographs were taken after the game was over, uh, which makes a lot more sense because I can't see Theo just jumping in the basket. First of all, it's kind of a bizarre thing to do anyway. But during a game, that would have been very newsworthy and not just on social media. So apparently that happened after the game where safety was not a concern and it wasn't necessarily drunken debauchery. It was just Theo kind of putting his arms back and enjoying his final day in Chicago. After that, it is not reported where they went to dinner, but I did see other pictures that made it look like they were on the roof at Murphy's Bleachers at one point, where Theo had a guitar playing some Led Zeppelin. I don't think they have any food there, so I'm not sure where they went to eat. But Paul Sullivan did report they ended the night at the Metro for a Strokes concert, which
yes,
that sounds
Strokes concert.
fucking awesome to me. Are you a Strokes fan?
I am. I'm seeing them open up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers at Soldier
Wow.
Field.
Holy shit.
The Stroke show was a actual political benefit.
At the Metro?
Yes.
Okay. I did not know this.
And
political.
They were supporting. I don't know the candidate's name. Apparently, I believe it is a Democratic candidate to which apology was said by the Strokes. We apologize for all the Republicans who bought tickets to this event.
Wow.
And who are in the crowd. They apparently played a very non-popular set. I don't know if they were overly annoyed by the whole situation or what.
Wow, that sucks. Yes. I haven't heard about any of this.
Yeah, they played they
played their brand new album or some shit like that.
Well, they did start off with. Nobody wants
to hear.
Well, no. I mean, it's decent, but like
I didn't like their fourth album or whatever that last one was.
If you were a pretty hardcore Strokes fan, which I'm very familiar with all their material, I think it would have been an enjoyable show, but which I think they may have done purposefully because of word of mouth of the amount of, I guess, Republicans that were present at the show. So anyway,
weird.
Whatever the political commentary affected their set, but it was covered here in Chicago that they were a little bit salty about that and played an interesting set that evening.
Well, I didn't know anything about that, so I'm glad we brought this up because you could add some color to this. Unfortunately, we don't cover politics, or no, very fortunately, we do not cover politics.
We don't care to.
Yes, we don't care to. We don't cover music, but I thought this was perfect. I'm a huge Strokes fan. I love the first 3 albums. I would argue there isn't a bad song on any of those. So if they were playing stuff off the first 3 albums, I'd be all for it. But I thought that was interesting that, Theo, basically half of Theo's farewell day sounded like something I would want to do. Be at the bleachers at Wrigley, getting drunk, going to a Strokes show afterwards. It sounds awesome to me. So that's how Theo wrapped up his time in Chicago, which, the debate, the eternal debate, did Theo live up to his promise, over his 9 years, which we've debated ad nauseum. So I think just to put a punctuation on this, he delivered the World Series, but he did not deliver the platform for sustained success that he promised. As I mentioned to start this Cub segment, 58 and 104 in the last 162 games. So.
Word Hole Media.